Now, the inflation figures today, Michael. Headline inflation has fallen to 2.8%. That's under the 3% limit of what inflation should be, but that's only because of the subsidies to power bills, especially the government's been paying out, and they're only temporary. The real inflation rate, the trim mean, is still 3.5%, too high to cut interest rates, although the Treasurer, of course, today was whooping it up. Here he is.
Today's numbers show that we are on track for a soft landing in our economy. We are confident but not complacent about the substantial progress that we are making as a country. Inflation is back in the band.
Michael Costa, they are coming down, so that is good. But what do you make of the figures and the chances of an interest rate cut before the election?
Well, I don't think there'll be an interest rate cut before the February RBA board meeting. That's what's clear from today, because, you know, you can spin it all you like, but the bottom line is it's still outside. The trim mean is still outside the band. And we've also got a very buoyant labour market, and we saw those recent figures in the labour market showing that it's still very buoyant. I think you'll be very optimistic to think we're going to have one this year. The problem for the government is twofold. Firstly, if they get a rate cut after the February meeting, I still don't think that's going to be enough. It's likely to be a small rate cut, and while they can argue whatever they like, in terms of the hip pocket, it's not going to make much difference. And secondly, they've got a set of deficits coming in budgets going forward, and that will be taken into account by the Reserve Bank in terms of spending and demand in the economy. So I think they're in a difficult situation. I noticed that the Treasurer started talking about the soft landing rather than interest rate cuts. So he clearly doesn't expect one either.
Cameron, can I just quickly finish with you? I know that you're a fan of Jim Chalmers. It is interesting that he was out there announcing good news, fronting the cameras. The Prime Minister, meanwhile, was in hiding. How long before Chalmers thinks that he'd be the better guy to run the government?
Well, I think Chalmers is the better guy to run the government, and I've said that on your program. Look, the Labor caucus has got a huge problem with Albanese because it's all about Albo when it comes to Albo, not about the ALP. And we've got to get out there and actually fight cost of living. And Jim Chalmers was doing that today while Albo was in witness protection.
Yeah, and when do you think he's going to decide he should take over?
Well, I think caucus has got to move, and I think the next 3 weeks in November are critical for caucus members to come back from electorates to work out whether Albanese can actually do what needs to be done during the campaign. Because goodness knows, the last week and the week before with the $4.3 million retirement home are disastrous. And that was an election campaign. Labor would be gone.
Yes, I think he might just be saved, Albanese, by this all coming a bit late in the season, but you never know. We shall see. Michael Costa, Cameron Milner, thank you very much to you both.